important, wherein sir will be teaching you about how to fill up the presentation and how to make the pitch and all. So all these time you are listening about the entrepreneurship and what is innovation and all. But this session is really very important. Please ask your friends to come back, please. Let us resume after 5 minutes, exactly after 5 minutes.
Start பண்ணுங்க.
So now we'll have a lecture on entrepreneurship again by Mr. Shibin Mohammed. So let me have a short introduction about himself. He's an academician with more than 7 years of experience in guiding across the technology-based startups across the state of Kerala. So pioneering institutionalizing IEDs in various colleges. He is also a United Nations certified program facilitator, and he has mentored student entrepreneurs across the state. Having coordinated more than 35 micro enterprise programs in Kerala for women over a span of 4 years, and he has guided various student startups in areas including blockchain, e-commerce, and edtech areas. His areas of interest include technology, entrepreneurship, design thinking, IoT, innovations, and life skill developments. So, and apart from that, I just had a short conversation with him. He's an interesting person who's actually an aeronautical engineer. Okay, and he's from Hindustan College of Engineering only. And he also started a startup, and then he found his passion towards being an academician, and that is how he came to ADII. So actually an interesting person. So instead of talking about entrepreneurship, he actually made it. So let us welcome Mr. Shibir Mohammed to the stage, please.
Good evening. Good evening all. Can you see me from here? I'm not that tall, that's why. Is it possible? No. No? Yeah? Okay. So was actually, I'll come over there if it's okay for you. I think Vignesh has given an introduction about me. I'm Shibir Mohammed and I'm from EDI. Have you heard of EDI? Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India? Yeah? Have you heard of that? How many of you have checked the website of EDI? You have checked the website of EDI? Great, nice. So what do you understand about EDI? Nothing. You just run some hackathons. So, EDI is actually a center of excellence in entrepreneurship. We are a national resource organization. We are in Ahmedabad, and we are almost there in all the states. In Tamil Nadu, we have our office in Salem and Madurai. We have offices set up, and we are going to set up a new office in Chennai also. And in all the other states, we have some presence there. Okay. I'm from Bangalore office. We have in Rajaji Nagar, Bangalore. Okay, how many of you have been in Bangalore? No, nobody of you have been in Bangalore. Yeah? You're from Bangalore? No, but you have been to Bangalore. Good, nice. So it's not a real nice place at all. So, okay, but Chennai is actually great because I did my college, my PG from Chennai. Okay, Bangalore weather is good, right? Yeah, Chennai weather, fine, good. If you're used to Chennai weather, you can get used to any weather, right? Okay. So today I'll be talking to you on mainly not on this particular topic because the earlier speakers had given a very good introduction on all the different innovation, sustainable startups, all the other things. So again, if I'm talking about entrepreneurship, it might be a very cliche kind of thing, but still, I'll give you some idea here, which is important for you. Not only an entrepreneurship, but something that will be essential for your life skills as well. Okay. And later on, we'll go to the hackathon part. So the back benches or back chairs, whatever, should I be standing on the stage or should I be standing over here? What do you say? Stage? Yeah? Okay, fine. Now is it okay? Good? Yeah? Okay, fine. So the first question is why have you guys come here? That's the first thing that I want to ask you. Some boot camp is running and you guys have come here for some kind of activity. You're feeling that from this boot camp we'll select some people and we'll take you to the hackathon, maybe, right? So how many of you have submitted your ideas here for the boot camp? Almost all? Yeah? How many of you have not submitted any idea but still have attended the boot camp? Yeah? No? You submitted the idea? Okay. You're just asking that, okay? So, see. But what is the actual, why have you actually come here? Why have you actually come here? It's not only for attending the boot camp, right? The boot camp is all about linking an idea with a sustainable development goal. And as your first person, the first tutor told today, sustainable development goal is something which will change the way of life, which will change your way of life, which will give and improve the life of the other people around you, improve the life of the society as a whole. So it is important that you generate something out of this. Something out of this particular activity, the boot camp, the hackathon. So what will be the end result out of it? So that all is important. But keeping all that aside, what is entrepreneurship all about? We have talked about innovation, and in the bootcamp I saw the list, I saw the different ideas which came. Oh my God, I was really wondered. Such beautiful ideas. Okay, but many of you have written job, right? How many of you are not looking for like a startup or an enterprise after your degree? Just raise your hand, no problem. You're looking for job, right? Jobs? Only 2 or 3 are there. Rest all are going to be entrepreneurs. My God, really? Come on, raise up your hand. Like if you're looking for job, raise up your hand, right? Yeah, most of you, right? There's nothing harm in that. If you're looking for job, that is actually a good thing. Because I don't personally advise people to go into or jump into entrepreneurship just after completing their graduation. First of all, you should know how a company works. Then you go and start a company. Okay? You take the case of any big entrepreneurs out there. Flipkart, Sachin Bensal, Lily Bensal, who are like, where was Flipkart founders working earlier? In Flipkart founders, where were they working earlier? Amazon, right? They were working in Amazon. And then later on they went to Flipkart. Take the case of any person. So, experience what running a company is, then try to start your own company. But that doesn't stop you from going along with your startup and all. You can do that. You can do that. But the risk is actually a little bit higher. Let me be very frank with you. Okay? I'm being very frank with you. Entrepreneurship is not everybody's cup of tea. We have a big buzz going on in our nation about entrepreneurship, about the number of startups being created. But believe me, that's not going to be an easy path. I'm not going to put all the negative thoughts in your mind, but let me be I want to be pragmatic, the real thing. So there will be a lot of hardships, a lot of things you have to think, a lot of failures might come up. You have to be ready for that. And a person who has finished graduation, I can expect what will be going on in the mind of that person, right? What will be the pressure that comes from the family, the pressure that comes from the friends? Correct? No pressure? No pressure for anything. When I finished my graduation, I remember, my mom and all, like I was sitting at home simply, okay. For 1 or 2 months, simply will sit. Because certificate would have come, some supplies will be there. Anyway, it will be there, 1 or 2. So we'll write that and we'll be waiting for that. So my mother will come with food and she'll keep on table. You know that neighbor's boy, he got in TCS. You eat better, no problem. You eat. Just I told you only. And I will be, okay, 1 more dosha, ma. So this is a situation. We all will go through that, right? But the thing is like, that doesn't mean that, okay, I didn't get in a company, let me start a startup. No. Starting a startup is actually a very crucial thing. You have to think at least 10 to 20 times. You have to experience the things. You have to know what is the difficulties in that, what's the good side, everything. Even finding a team from the startup, whom to start. 2 or 3 people will be your friends. You will tell, Macha, come, we always start a startup. No. You have to know what they are bringing onto the table, everything you will have to know. So, today my session is not about entrepreneurship. I will tell you what entrepreneurship and things are, but it will be more of just sowing that seed in your mind. Okay? Why you need to go forward, or why entrepreneurship mindset or entrepreneurial thinking is important today. Do you know this people? Anybody? We all start with Steve Jobs and everything, right? But still, who are these guys? Tell me. Yeah, Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata? Yeah, tell me, who are? You have another mic? No. Anybody can just raise your hand and tell me? How many can you identify from this? Yeah, Please, tell me. You raised your hand now. No, you're just doing like this. Okay. Anyone from there? Anybody, tell, please. Yes? Can you identify? Nobody. Not even one. Yes, yes, please. Steve Jobs, yeah, okay, good. Then Mark? Mark Zuckerberg, which one? The last one, okay. Then Jack Ma, yeah, you guys know, then why you guys keeping quiet? Yeah, Jack Ma, then Ambani? Bill Gates? Ambani is there? No Ambani, yeah? No Ambani? Ambani is there? You only know two Ambanis? Dhirubhai Ambani you don't know. Daddy you don't know, only sons you know. Okay. Dhirubhai Ambani, Jack Ma, Bill Gates. Who is the first person? The first? Any idea? Guys, tell me, who is the first guy? The first guy. The smiling, tattooed person. Who is it? Okay, I'll give you a hint. He has developed a software. He has developed something which I am sure at least 99% people in this room are using in their smartphone. Yeah? WhatsApp, good. Who is the founder of WhatsApp? Mark? Mark Tata. What? What is it? Next slide. Founder of WhatsApp is Yan Kaum. Yan Kaum and brand actor. It's Jan Kaum. It's pronounced as Yan Kaum. Okay. So what are the specialities of these people? They are people who actually build their business from scratch. From nothing. You take the case of any person in that. Okay. Take the case of Yan Kaum itself. So Yan Kaum was actually from Ukraine. Okay. He and his mother, his dad was there, his dad was not able to come. He and his mother actually migrated to US, and he was working in a restaurant along with his mom, cleaning the restaurant, cleaning the table and all. But he was very studious. And that is how he got to Yahoo. He was working in Yahoo, and that in Yahoo he found, like he met with brand actor. And WhatsApp was a side project for them. It is something which they were doing in their free time. And later on, you know, for how much WhatsApp was sold? $1.93 billion, right? Take the case of any person there. I'm not talking about the Ambanis, like the son Ambanis, forget about that, whatever. They are born with a silver spoon. Take about the case of Dhirubhai Ambani. He was actually a person who was working in a petrol station, a gas filling station. You know what's a work in a gas filling station, right? The vehicles will come. And that time his dream was that one day I will be having a petrol station of my own. But right now, the whole energy, the fuel, everything of India is partially controlled by Reliance Industries. Everybody. Take the case of everybody. So what is common in each of them? What is common in these people? Now when I'm talking about these big startups, these big companies, it's not about the big companies alone. Please go to the next one. These are some of the things which we are doing, which EDI is also supporting. EDI is supporting startups as well as EDI is also supporting the rural entrepreneurs. So these are very successful rural women entrepreneurs whom EDI is supporting right now, has earlier supported also. The women, the Jyoti Lakshmi which we can see, the second is holding a goat milk soap. You know what's a goat milk soap? Goat milk, have you drank? You drank cow milk, right? Have you drank goat milk? Yeah? It's actually one of the most nutritious thing, which it comes below camel milk. Camel milk is actually more nutritious. Donkey milk is more nutritious, really. But goat milk, if you make a soap out of it, there's nothing better than that. And these ladies from rural Maharashtra, they are making these goat milk soap and they're selling it across. They're selling it in different places. The down one, the ladies which you can see is actually from Kanyakumari. The Kanyakumari, the ladies, they are making Moringa powder. You know what's Moringa powder, right? Moringa tablet. Moringa powder. Moringa, you don't know? You know moringa, no? Moringa leaf. Moringa leaves, you don't know? They are drying it, they are making powder, and you won't believe they are exporting that powder. They are exporting it to France. They are exporting it to different other countries. So, take the case of any business. You can see the Uttarakhand entrepreneurs there. Top again, we have the Tamil Nadu entrepreneurs who are making dry fish, the coastal entrepreneurs. What are actually the beautiful thing about entrepreneurs? It's all starting something when nothing was there. Not only the case of Dhirubhai Ambani or anything, starting something from scratch. So where does this passion come from? Next slide. The passion comes from something called the need for achievement. I have to achieve something in life. Okay. Believe me, this is one of the quote which has always enthralled me a lot. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. What do you mean by comfort zone? Today, in the morning, the speaker was talking about your comfort zone. What do you mean by the comfort zone? You guys are like maybe BSc, BTech, right? When I was also BTech, I was doing my PG also. So I know that the moment I come back home, there will be food on the table. If I pass, I have supply or whatever, I will have food on the table, right? But there are billions of people in our country, or maybe around the world, who are not sure whether they are having food on the table for the night or not, for the next day or maybe for this particular night. So for that, they tend to think about what can be done. Like right now my life is going like this, but in order to do something else, I have to change or I have to do something more in my life. This is actually coming out of your comfort zone. The moment you are out of your comfort zone, the more challenges will be posed before you, and the more you tend to think about, or more you tend to think extra. For example, I'll just give you a very simple example. A bus takes from your college to your home. Another bus regularly you catch from your home to your college, right? Maybe that's, or maybe you're taking bike, whatever. One day the bus is not there. The bus is on strike. What will you guys do? You will take bike. But you will tend to think of all the other possibilities of coming to the college, because you know that you have to come to the college at 10 o'clock or 9:30. 8 o'clock. Oh my god, poor guys. Okay, whatever. 8:15 you have to come to the college. Just imagine that. So all the other way, now you know that the bus is not there. So then only you will tend to think of all the other ways in which you can reach at 8:15, right? So when the challenge is posed before you, that is only when you will think of the next thing. So always think, when the moment you tend to think of the things, it's always when you come out of the comfort zone. So try to get out of it. All of us, all of you, including me, we are all actually in the comfort zone. If you want to grow, go to the next level, we have to come out of the comfort zone. So what is all about this entrepreneurship? I'm not going to the definition, there are a lot of definitions in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is generally looking for or acting on a problem. We have to identify a particular problem and we have to find out an opportunity out of it. For an entrepreneur, all problem is actually an opportunity. When we are giving you sustainable development goals, 17 SDGs are there, out of which how much are given? 7. 7 were given to you, right? The 7 SDGs are there. The 7 SDGs might be a problem for you or maybe for a community of people. And from that, you have to find out an opportunity. And now when I talk about opportunity, it should be innovative in nature. The answer should be very innovative. You have all given your entries for the hackathon. Maybe, I'm not just telling like that, but still, somewhere very generic. Okay, we need to build electric cars. We need to clean waste. We need to recycle waste. But that's actually a very generic statement. We are looking for something that is very pinpoint, very specific, very innovative in nature. So unless, let's see, I also know that women empowerment is required. Women's safety is very important. But if I write the problem as women's safety, requirement of women's safety, that's a very general statement. But when you need to be innovative, you need to pinpoint on that, you need to think of what the actual problem is, and you have to represent that. So those are the minds that we are actually looking for the hackathon also. Okay. Why is entrepreneurship so important and why are we giving so much importance for that? So through entrepreneurship, definitely the GDP of the country will increase. I'm not going, you know that GDP all is increasing. How many MSMEs are there? MSMEs are there in India? 6.23 million MSMEs. And how much are they contributing to the GDP, you know? More than 30%. More than 30% is being contributed. So it's very important. The economic growth is important. You become a creator, job creator, rather than a job seeker. That's all thing. Source of innovation, personal development. Now this is something which I'm going to focus today. How can entrepreneurship or learning about the competencies of entrepreneurship in personal development? Entrepreneurship, research actually shows that entrepreneurship helps in reducing the crime rate of a country. If I'm telling you that you have to focus your mind on something else, that will help in, like you do, not to think about something bad, right? Correct. Your mind will be, like for example, if I am having a startup, or if I am planning for some enterprise or a startup, my mind will be fully occupied on that. So I don't have time in order to think of something else. So it helps in your personal development also. So today the entrepreneurship, the thing what I'm going to explain here is not purely on the entrepreneurship part, but it is also about how to be a better intrapreneur. Now what's an intrapreneur? Entrepreneur, intrapreneur. Anybody? What's an intrapreneur? A person who is selling the idea. A person who is selling the idea is an intrapreneur. What is an intrapreneur, people? Intra, someone who is inside, right? An intrapreneur is a person who might be employed. As many of you have raised hands that they need employment, who might be employed, but who has all the capacity and the capability of an entrepreneur. He has been trained to think like an entrepreneur, to act and do things like an entrepreneur, but he has been employed by someone. And believe me, companies today are looking for better managers who are more entrepreneurially aligned, who have more, whose mindset are more into entrepreneurship. That doesn't mean the company wants you to jump from there and start another company, but still, that is what they are looking into. Now, for entrepreneurship, there are certain tendencies that we need to know. From the tendencies comes the qualities or the competency. Now these competencies are not necessarily for starting your own startup or enterprise. Believe me, this is very important. These tendencies, practicing this is not for starting your own startup. It is for making you a better individual. And the number one tendency is need for achievement. This is the most important tendency which we find in entrepreneurship, but it is also for making you exceed in life or excel in life. What do you mean by need for achievement? See people, this is all no rocket science here, you can just tell. What do you mean by need for achievement? What's the example given here? Sachin. How many centuries have Sachin taken? 100? How many in test? 50? 50? Or? Correct, you're right. 50 something. And ODI, how many centuries?
49.
49, that you know. In test it's 51. ODI 49. 100 centuries in total. There's no batsman, as per my knowledge, there's no batsman on earth who has taken 100 centuries throughout his career. Maybe now you people might come, right? Kohli might come. So, what is like need for achievement? Is Sachin Tendulkar an entrepreneur? Maybe not. But what is need for achievement? When he is scoring his 49th century, he is always thinking, how can I go to the next level? Whenever I am in this particular level, a person with this particular tendency, the need for achievement tendency, always thinks of how to go to the next step. This is the important tendency, sir. Yes. The next is need Come on guys, you're from Chennai, you should know her. Where did she finish her college? Madras University? No idea. Okay, she finished her undergraduation from Madras University. Her dad was working in a bank, a very typical middle class family. But her life changed when she joined IAM. Just imagine if she did not have that independent mindset. And like if the family is telling like, okay, better now you finish the UG, now get married and go to this thing, go. So that is like the thought process should come from our side. See, I want to think or I want to change in a different way. I want to think independently. That makes all the difference, right? So, next slide. Drive and determination. The third important tendency or the enterprising tendency, which is required for an entrepreneur also for the success of your life. What do you mean by drive and determination? The passion, the drive that I want to do this. Persistence. What do you mean by persistence? I have to do this. I have to do or reach at this particular stage in my life. The determination. People, that's very rare. It's not easy. Mother Teresa, who was born in Albania, she came all the way to India. She had the drive to help the lepers or to change or make a change in their life. Creativity and innovation. So I'm not going much to this. Earlier you had 2 sessions on innovation. Okay. I cannot tell. See, innovation is nothing like which cannot be practiced. Innovation can be practiced. You can try to be more innovative, but I cannot expect from you that one day I'll tell you, okay, today you guys all should be innovative. That is not possible, right? But this is another important tendency. And the next one is calculated risk taking. So who is this person? Okay, you know Elon Musk, you don't know Dhirubhai Ambani. Okay, Elon Musk. Elon Musk. What's his company's name? The rocket making company? SpaceX, right? You know the story of SpaceX, right? Like how he made that. He actually went and bought this ICBM parts from Russia and all. He was looking for that old ICBM parts and from that he tried to make the rocket. The actual price initially for making that particular rocket, he thought of actually buying the parts first. And that was around like $6 million something dollars. And later on, there was a very important, very famous principles of him called the first principles thinking. Have you heard of that? Okay, through that he designed his own rocket, he bought the own parts from different sellers and all, and he manufactured that rocket at about 1/10 of the cost. So that's actually calculated risk taking risk. Even buying Twitter was actually a big risk for him, right? So that's another important quality. Now, based on all these tendencies, there were many researches that were done, and from that we came out with 15 competencies. 15 competencies any entrepreneur should be having. And from that 15, UN or United Nations have taken 10 competencies. The 15 competencies were actually done by a research of Harvard University. EDI was also there as a part of it. McBain and company. They had done through different entrepreneurs and they had come out with 15. And from that 15, 10 competencies were taken. Next. Is it visible? No. Okay. So I'm just going or just telling what are the 10 competencies. Again, I'll tell you, I'm repeating this again and again. These 10 competencies are not necessary. I'm not here to teach you about entrepreneurship or for you to become an entrepreneur, but this is just for achieving or having that achievement motivation in your life or exceeding in your life. Okay. What's the first competency? Goal setting. What do you mean by goal setting? Do you have a goal? Yes or no? Yes? What's the goal? However, to end this class and get out, right? That's a goal now. This guy is like driving us crazy, something all he's telling, right? That will be a goal, why not? That's a goal, that's a short-term goal. You have to finish this class and go out. But what's a long-term goal? 10 years from now, what is going to happen with my life? That is actually thinking of a long-term goal. 10 years. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow, right? That is our life. But still, at least 10 years. At least, okay, 10 years, 5 years. Can you think like, in one interview panel, one person told, I remember, like, what do you want, what is your expectation after 5 years? So he's telling, I want to be in your position. He was telling to the CEO of the company, I will be in your chair. So, no, I'm not telling that's actually a very overestimated kind of goal, but still, at least have some vision how your life is going to be after 5 years. And in order to reach that long-term goal, what are the short-term goals that you should be fulfilling? The second one is information seeking. So don't expect that you should have all the 10 competency. Maybe this friend over here might be having 6 out of 10. You will be having 4 out of 10. But you should try to develop the other 6. Okay. So information seeking. For example, in our class, like when teacher asks a question, there might be some student. We might call him like he is very irritating, but he might be going on asking some question. No ma'am, why is it like that? Why can't it be in this way? That way. Okay. That is actually information seeking. That is actually a competency. That will in future that can drive for entrepreneurship, that can turn into entrepreneurship. Third is systematic planning and monitoring. What do you mean by systematic planning and monitoring? Systematic planning and monitoring. Having a plan about everything. Whatever you do, if you have a particular plan in your mind, submitting an assignment, whatever small things it might be, you have an exam that is going to come. Have a proper plan on how to do that, or how to encounter that exam, how to plan for your studies. That is systematic planning. Opportunity seeking and initiative. What is opportunity seeking? Opportunity seeking and initiative. You know what's opportunity seeking? Anybody? Opportunity seeking? You had tea, right now, nothing else, right? Okay, okay. You guys are very quiet. Okay, what is opportunity seeking? Opportunity seeking is seeking for opportunity. Right? Don't give me engineering answers, please. What is opportunity seeking? Please tell me. Trying to find out some opportunity from a problem. Right? People like I'm actually a failed entrepreneur, like what earlier sir was telling you. I had my 2 startups, and my co-founder is there. He's actually doing very well. He's a very good friend of mine. So he has a startup called Mind Guru. Okay. So Mind Guru startup is something which focuses on psychological counseling. So how did he actually arrive at this is like, there were many students who were going through the psychological trauma and depression. And he being a teacher, we both were actually, before I joined India, I was actually a faculty in a college. And the students were coming to us and telling that, sir, I can't concentrate, I can't do this, I can't do that, my boyfriend ditched me, my girlfriend is not talking to me. All sort of depression and trauma was going on. So this was actually a very good opportunity, because when he did his research, he found that in Mumbai only there is one such company at that time who was actually focused on psychological counseling. That is online psychological counseling. And that is how Mind Guru was born. In initial stage I was there to support for that, but later on I was not there. But he is doing it well. So opportunity seeking and taking the initiative is also important. Take the opportunity from a problem and take the first step. But after taking the opportunity, you have to be persistent. It's not like you just end it over there. You have to be more and more persistent. What is persistent? Some people are very adamant, like until I achieve that particular goal, I won't be able to sleep. Right? That's called persistence. That is another competency here. Fulfilling commitment. What do you mean by fulfilling commitment? If you commit something, you have to fulfill it. So all this is not based on entrepreneurship, okay people? This is something which, I'll tell you again, is something for your own development, which is actually enterprising tendency, which through research we have found it as enterprising tendency. Demand for efficiency and quality. Whatever you do, you have to do it in the most efficient and quality-oriented manner. Calculated risk taking. I told you what is calculated risk. What's the difference between risk and calculated risk? Have you bunked college and gone for movie? Yeah. How many of you have bunked college and gone for movies? Only this much people. You guys are doing engineering, right? Okay, good. Great. I can see many hands. Okay, fine. So at this time for the attendance, when you bunk college, what do you do for the attendance? It just goes away, huh? And then, proxy? You know proxy? What's proxy? Proxy attendance? You're not done proxy attendance? If Shibin Mohammed is not in the class also, there will be someone to call my attendance. That's called proxy, right? Classroom will find it out. That all, there are methods, bro. Okay, I'm not giving any negative things here, but still, you can, if you're bunking your class and going for a movie, that's actually taking a risk. But bunking your class, when your friend asks you to go for a movie, you're bunking your class, thinking about the percentage of attendance that you have, and if it is not up to the mark, making someone to call proxy and at least keeping that 75%, right now also? Yeah, 75%, that is actually calculated mistake. So this is actually a competency. If you have that, it's a good competency for an entrepreneur as well. Persuasion and networking. What do you mean by persuasion? Persuading someone. Persuading to get the things done. Do you have that in you or not? So these are the time when you have to analyze whether you have that competency or not. What do you mean by persuasion? If you want to go to a tour to Goa, you want 10,000 rupees. Will you go to your dad and tell, Papa, I need 10,000 rupees? Will you tell that? Huh? Take it from his bag. Huh? What you don't? Take it from his pocket. How will you do that? Do you directly go and tell your dad that? No. You will go, talk to your mom, persuade her to convince your dad to give you the money, right? That is actually a competency for an entrepreneur as well. And the last one is independence and self-confidence. To have an independent thought process. So what I'm going to do is now, I'll just give you one particular exercise here. Okay? So what you guys need to just look into the screen and I'll give you one particular problem. So you have to just identify the opportunity from there. Yeah, sir. There is like some squares, a figure which is shown here. I want you guys to identify how many squares are there in this particular figure. The correct answer will get nothing, but still you can identify. Okay. Huh? 32? 34? 34? Who told 34? You told 34? How much? 34? What's your name? Rohan? Good. Give an applause for Rohan. 34. So anyone can beat 34? More than 34? Anyone? Anybody? $40? Who told 40? What's your name? Jisha. Jisha, please. Another round of applause. Jisha, can you show 40? Can you just come here and show 40? Yeah, please.
Well, it's each of the individual smaller boxes, and then you just basically take on. Yeah. That's first 16, right?
You're talking about this one?
Yeah, these boxes, right? And then we got each of these individual smaller boxes.
And the smaller ones, the real smaller ones?
The 4
How many
and
are there?
8. 4, so 8.
4 plus 4, 8. 8 plus 16? Correct. No doubt, no? Okay. Fine.
And then there's again two boxes, like all the four put together.
You can tell the 2 by 2. 2 by 2 boxes. How many 2 by 2 are there? No, tell me. Correct. What is right?
Yeah, so there are like two of those 2 by 4 boxes and 4 by 4. Yeah, 2 by 2 boxes.
How many
Two of those 2 by 2 boxes.
How many 2 by 2s are there?
I don't know how to explain it. Yeah. And then you take the 3 by 3 and
How many 3 by 3s are there? How many 3 by 3s are there, people? 4? Yeah? And 4 by 4? Okay, you can just see the answer here. It's not coming. So play. No audio. Just play. So they are like small squares, right? How many are there? 80. There's an L missing for small. Sorry for that. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Extra small squares, 8. 18 plus 8. You need a calculator? Okay. 2 by 2, 9, medium. 3 by 3, 4. And 4 by 4, 1. That is 40 squares. Good. Nice. So, it's not like, you can go back to the PPT, sir. Okay, so those who answered 34 or those who answered 28, it's not like you guys are not that much, like less intelligent, nothing like that. Google is there, right? Okay. Okay. But all of you were shown the same problem, right? But when your name, sorry, I forgot that. Jisha was able to identify 40 opportunities out of it. Some were able to identify 24. Some were able to identify 36. The problems around you are all the same. All of you are seeing the problems, but how many of you are able to perceive it? Perceive the opportunity out of it. That is actually important. Opportunity seeking is the one and the most important trait for any entrepreneur. Identify the problem. For all the others, it might be a regular problem, but for an entrepreneur or a person with an entrepreneurial mindset, it might be an opportunity. The next slide, sir. This is another thing, another small puzzle. I'm not going to tire you again with puzzles here, okay? I have to teach you efficiency orientation. How to do things efficiently. That's another trait of an entrepreneur, right? I'm going to give you a puzzle here. Imagine that I'm traveling in a bus. I have a chain. I don't wear a chain, but still, I have a chain. Okay? And somehow it got broken, like it fell and it just got broken there. And all was left was 4 pieces. I have to get it back into a single chain. Something like he's thinking of something else. No, don't think of anything else here. It's just, okay, so I have to get it back into a single chain, a single round chain. And for getting it back into a chain, I need to do a cutting and joining, right? It's all different pieces here. For cutting it is ₹5 and for joining it is ₹10. How much money should I spend for getting a complete circular chain? Think. $60? 60? Can you just come to the next please? Come on, be a man, come on. Yeah, tell me. How?
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்துட்டு இங்க வந்து மேல வந்து கட் பண்ணோம். ஒன் சைடு வந்து கட் பண்ணோம். இன்னொரு சைடு வந்து
One side வந்து கட் பண்றது 5 rupees. அது வந்து ஜாயின்
கட் பண்ண கீழ ஜாயின் அது சிம்பிளி மேல கட் பண்ணோம். கட் பண்ணிட்டு இது இஸ் லாக் பண்ணிட்டு ஜாயின் பண்ணோம். இது பண்ணிட்டு 15
one cutting one join 50 rupees.
அதே மாதிரி அந்த தடவை பண்ணேன். நெக்ஸ்ட் 15 4 times 4 times கட் பண்ணோம் ஜாயின் பண்ணோம். அப்போ
Understood, right? 15, 15, 15 and 15. We have to make it a whole chain. So it will be 60 rupees. Good. Now, thank you. Now my question is, can you do it for less than 60 rupees? Can you do it for less than 60 rupees? That's my question. I don't think this will be there in Google. 40. But don't try, it might be. Because I am not there to challenge Google again. How can you do it for less than 60 rupees is fine. As Kashi Raja told.
do it in small size.
No, I need it in full. Why should I take in small size here? Bracelet. I need chain only. How to do it less than 60? Anyone, anybody, please.
30.
Yeah.
40.
40. How? Please tell me. 40 rupees. Your name? Lokesh? Lokesh brother, good.
So I'm cutting these two, 5, 5, and I'm joining, which makes 20. And I'm cutting those two, 5, 5, and I'm joining 20, 20, 40. I'm cutting this end and this end. That end. That top.
So you need 5 and 10.
10. 5. Yeah, 15.
No, Lokesh is actually very close to the answer. That's why, like, I know he'll get it, but how? That's a question. Anybody else? 45? 45. Who got 45? Yeah. Yeah, give a big round of applause for Lokesh. At least the initiative is there. That's another competency, right? You have to take the initiative. Yeah.
You can cut this end. So you can cut this end and join, so it's 15, 15, 15, 15, so it's 45.
Hey, you want to make it up?
Samuel, give a round of applause to Samuel. Please go to the next slide. Yeah. So this is the answer. Okay, 45 is the correct answer. You can just see this. I will keep 3 of the chains together. And I'll just work on one chain. You can see that one chain. I'll take one ring from that, cut it, keep it there, join it together. That will be 15. Another second ring I'll take, cut it, keep it together, join. It will be how much? 30. Take the third one, cut it and join. 45. What does it teach you? It's not like it's a simple puzzle, but anything, any work, whatever comes before you, there will be a way of doing it in a more efficient manner, which we are actually not aware of, which we are actually overseeing. Entrepreneurs need to know about that. How to do it in a more efficient manner. How much time do we have? No? Next. Coming to the next part, a startup. So what's a startup? What do you mean by a startup? We talked about entrepreneurial competency. How many competencies are there in total, people? 10. 10 is what we have known today. There are actually 15 competencies, but out of that 10. A startup is something maybe like, there might be different definitions, but for Startup India also there are different definitions given. But it's an entrepreneurial venture which is coming out of entrepreneurship, which is generally a product of an entrepreneurial mindset, which is typically a newly emerged fast-growing business. Now let me ask you something. I am starting a tea shop, a small tea shop. Can it be considered as a startup? Why not? Yeah? Yes or no? So what's the difference between an enterprise and a startup? Innovation should be there, right? So in the tea shop, a normal tea shop or a normal hotel, when can it be considered as a startup idea? If you're doing something differently, right? If you're serving to the customers in a different manner. If your dosa is actually like a star, it can be maybe it's a new kind of innovation. And if your business has a good reason to scale up, if there's a rapid growth over a small period of time, if that can be achieved, if these things are there, we can tell that it has some tendency of a startup. Any person who starts at an enterprise starts with an entrepreneurial mindset itself. Like if I have started a small tea shop in my village, I start with the idea that this tea shop should grow into a big business. But after 10 years also, if the tea shop is still remaining as such, I'm selling the same vada and tea and everything. Somewhere the entrepreneurial mindset has come down. He's just being a businessman. That difference should be there. You should understand that. And entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial mindset always thinks of going to the next stage, how to scale up your particular business and so and so. So there are different phases of entrepreneurial process, and the first stage, as we see here, is idea generation. And the idea should be generated by seeing an opportunity. So this opportunity identification and idea generation is actually going hand in hand. But how do you actually generate the idea? So there is something called process called design thinking. Have you heard of design thinking? How many of you heard of design thinking? Design thinking. Yeah, what is design thinking? Anybody? From the last? If you raise your hand, then you will have to answer, right? Yeah, please. First you guys decide who will tell. Okay, you are, please, anyone, yeah, tell. Or both can tell us a chorus also, no problem. Yeah, tell.
Something like what to say, to make something in the paper. Bring an idea into a paper so we can be innovative and thinking like how can it be done.
Okay, innovation is one important key. But what's the most important part of design thinking? Yeah, the only tool is right. Yeah, tell. Team-based clarify panno illa customers clarify panno. Okay. So design thinking basically starts with empathizing. Okay. It's like we are empathizing with the customer or the end user on how it should be made, a product should be made. So before the idea generation, actually the idea generation part should come along with the design thinking process, which goes hand in hand with the opportunity identification. And then we have a plan, a good business plan on how to move ahead, and then launching your enterprise, and then finally the growth stage. So I'll just go a bit quick. Yeah, next. Right, next. So whenever, now you all have generated some ideas as part of the boot camp and later on part of the hackathon also. So when you have your idea that is aligned with the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goal, there should be something that you need to keep in mind. Yeah, some sort of evaluation needs to be done at the ideation stage itself. Next. So the first thing is like, what difference your idea is going to make in terms of SDG. Who is it going to cater to? Is your idea going to make any difference or not? Is it disruptive in nature? What do you mean by disruption? Something that is changing the conventional way of doing things is called a disruption. Swiggy and Zomato, later Madam told, is a disruption, right? And is it validated by some market research? Some market research has been done or not? Those things you need to keep in mind. And also you have to do some basic analysis on how, whether it can make some money, whether it will have any business potential, whether it has some potential for scale up. All these things you have to keep in mind. Okay? So I'll just show you, like, you can just go forward, fast forward with the disruptions. These are some disruptions, like I'm not going much to that. Forward, yeah. And in order to get a support for our idea about the ecosystem, there is like a very favorable ecosystem. Right now, today morning, Madam was telling, Mahalakshmi Madam was telling about the entrepreneurial ecosystem that we have. You have enough support for your idea itself. Like you can easily get incubated to the Center for Entrepreneurship Development Incubation Center here. There are startup incubators in place which will help you get incubated or get your idea to the next level. There are angel investors, even which CD might get connect you to the different angel investors who can actually pump money for your idea. And then there are other sort of fundings like VC, crowdfunding. There is Startup India loan, SIFFS loan, Mudra loan is there. All these type of support mechanisms are there. So right now, getting funding or getting going with a startup to the next stage is not the actual big challenge. The big challenge is actually having a good idea in place. So finally, now I'm not going much, I'll just go to the last slide. You know what's like the major startup mistake and all? You have to always analyze the whole ecosystem and build something which all would require, which the customer actually require. Even if you think that that idea is actually very big, even if that does not put any value to the market, then there is no point in going forward with that idea. So now, like, let's just go for the slide. I'll talk about the hackathon challenge that we are in. So you have all given your entries here, right? And from these entries, some sort of a screening will be done. And this screened ideas, like we'll be inviting you for the hackathon which is happening in Ahmedabad. Okay. And for this, before that, like what I need you guys to do is like a small template will be given to you. Maybe a 5-slide template. And this 5-slide template you will have to prepare and hand it over to CV. So the date was 4th, no? 3rd, sorry. Monday is 3rd, right? Monday. Before the coming Monday. So it's like, it's not any big rocket science, it's a very simple slide. You can just open to the next presentation. No, that it's minimized. No, that's my thank you slide. Since people are always moving, so I thought I'll keep it for last. So the other slide. Yeah. No, not that one, sir. There was one more which I opened. Okay. There was one which I had opened and put, right? For Anna University, yeah, the top. For Anna University Hackathon, yeah. Open. So it's a very 5-6 slides component, it's a very simple thing. The first slide should be about your idea. If you have come out with a startup with your idea, fine and good. You can put that logo and the details there. This will be the first slide, any background, image, whatever it is. It's up to you. Second one. Now what is the problem that you have identified? Now the problem is something which is aligned to the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goal. Don't worry, I'll be handing over this slide to you, okay? So the problem is aligned to the SDG, which you have to identify. So what is the actual problem that you have identified? Now, when you talk about the problem, it is the problem which you might face, or maybe another community or a group of people are facing right now, okay? Right, next. How is the problem which you are trying to solve related to SDG, and which SDG is it related to? You have the 7 selected SDGs here, out of which is it aligned to, that you have to put in the second slide, the third one. Go to the third one. Now for this slide, target market and opportunity is something which you have to answer in a very crucial manner. For example, you are talking about a problem which is related to like water sanitation or water management or something like that. So what is the target market? Like how many people are actually facing this problem, and what is the opportunity that is there? Like in the coming years, how this problem is going to be paramount, or how it is going to grow. So whenever we talk about making a product, how will we talk about the target market? Take a case of like diaper, you know what's a diaper? Yeah, baby diaper. How will you talk about the target market of baby diaper? Right now, there are this much babies who are born in this area, but the market share of these products are there, and out of which, if you are taking at least 1%, this will be the number of units that will buy your particular product. And how will you talk about the opportunity for the market? In the next year, the growth of babies are going to be about more than 5% or 10% like that. If you put, that's the opportunity that you're talking about. So you talk about how many people are facing the problem right now, and in future how it is going to grow. So next one. Then you come to your solution. You talked about the problem, you talked about how many people are facing the problem, and then you're telling, this is my solution for this particular problem. The next slide. It can be a product, it can be a service, it can be anything. Okay, next slide. Now this is, I don't want very brief this thing on financial models here, because I know in the ideation stage I don't expect you guys to come out with a very in-depth kind of financial model, but at least the revenue model, the business model, how is it going to generate some money? If it is coming out as a startup, how will it generate money? How will the cash come out of it? How will the cash flow happen? That has to come here. So don't go into very in-depth financial, but what is the business model all about? Only that we need. Okay, next. And how are you going to get that to the customers? Or if there is a customer which we have identified, maybe it might be a government, maybe it might be a part of a policy advocacy kind of thing, but how are you going to market it? How are you going to bring it about to the customer? I think that's it. Next slide. If you can analyze a competition, that also is good. Now what do you mean by competition? A competition or a competitor is someone who is not the person who is making the same kind of product, but who is solving the same kind of problem that you are trying to solve. For an umbrella manufacturer, a raincoat manufacturer is also a competition, right? So anybody whom you have currently identified who is solving the same kind of problem that you are trying to solve now is a competition for you. So don't ever write that our startup does not have any competition, we are very unique. No, don't go into all those things. There will be a competition. Okay? That's it. I think at least these 7 slides are anything to add in that. If you have anything to add, nothing. You can add. So this you need to submit within 3rd. I think you have already made all these details in your Google form. You just need to copy paste that into a PPT and hand it over to Anna University. So thank you guys. Anything, I know I have exceeded the time already. Thank you. It's the last session, it's always dragging kind of thing, but still, I hope I have made myself clear. Thank you. And I hope to meet all of you in Ahmedabad and EDI. I hope all of you go through this process and come to the hackathon. And don't ever think that if you are not qualified for the hackathon, oh, my startup won't reach anywhere. This is just nothing. It's just some kind of a screening process. And believe me, there are successful startups who have not even gone to any boot camp, not gone to any hackathons at all. But they have become great and successful. Infosys and Wipro did not go to hackathons and boot camp for becoming successful. Just think of that. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That was wonderful. So, we'll be expecting your responses through email before 3rd of March. Right? Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any questions on clarifications about the presentation? You can clarify right here. You can close camera.